Hey, it's WT here. I want to talk about another entrepreneur struggle. I want to tell you a story about how I turned an L into a W. Now, nobody likes taking an L, they suck. But when you can turn your L into a W, you expand, you grow, and you become a champion of that. So, what happened was I got invited to speak on stage, and this was the first time that I was going to be able to speak on stage. So before that, I was always speaking at Toastmasters. I was developing my skill, figuring out my craft, and I was going to momondays clubs and speaker slams and checking out how people did their speaking, how they presented, and really just kind of trying to find my style and trying to find, you know, how I wanted to show up and put my own stank on what I was going to do. So I went into this competition. Now, the competition, you only have 6 minutes to tell your story, and you got to tell a story about something. I had been working on the speech for Mo Mondays, and Mo Mondays you have 10 minutes. So all of a sudden I had to cut my speech down by 4 minutes, and so I was looking at the content and what things to leave out, what things I should keep in there. I had a lot of jokes that I thought were really good, and I wanted to give those jokes out. And the story was kind of personal, but so to break up the seriousness of it, I wanted to have some jokes to keep the crowd engaged, really. So I went to this speaker slam and I did the speech, and I felt real good about it. I felt like I really crushed it. I felt like I really, really did well. I got some feedback from people in the crowd, a few people in the crowd, the really good feedback. But I didn't win the competition. I didn't even make it to the second round. And more than that, when I talked to my friend who organizes the arena, and she told me that that was way over the top, and it didn't come off authentic, and it was some people they thought it was shocking and a little bit offended. And I was thinking, but that wasn't the intent at all. I mean, the intent was the story was about relationships and surviving a relationship and really learning how to appreciate the other person in the relationship. And I guess I missed the mark completely. And because this was my first time on stage, so I only ever done Toastmasters before, I started to really wonder, is speaking really for me? Am I going to be able to do this as being a motivational speaker as part of the what I wanted to do to expand my business, to expand my book writing, my coaching, to expand all of that? I wanted to start speaking on stage. And I was wondering, is this really what I could do? But the great thing, and you learn this at Toastmasters, is when people are giving you what they call your grows, and it's the constructive criticism, is that because you've trained through Toastmasters to really listen, and really take it to heart. Once I really thought about what she was saying, and I went back through my speech, and I looked at it from someone else's perspective, I started to see that I was missing the real story, the real heartache, because it was too generalized, especially the jokes. And some of the jokes just didn't fit at all. Now, the lucky thing is that I was also invited to speak at Mo Mondays, and it was going to be 4 days after the speaker slam. So I took the L, I got that feedback the next day, and I quickly started processing it. Went through some emotions of, first of all, thinking, oh, well, people just don't get it. That's my style, that's my swagger, that's who I am. To really looking at why did they not understand the message the way I thought that I was sharing it. And when I started to realize, oh, it's just these little things that I need to change and tweak. And if I do those, and if I really let some of my vulnerability out, because the other part of it was, a relationship struggles for someone like me that really thinks they're awesome, thinks they're awesome every day, to really have to admit that some of the problems in the relationship, most of the reasons why the relationship was having a lot of troubles was because of me, my attitude and my insensitivity. And now I was going on stage to admit that to complete strangers. And that, I think that was hard, and that's why I was trying to hide behind the jokes. But once I really connected with that, and I practiced it a couple of times, and some of the emotions were coming up, and sometimes it was hard to keep those emotions from bubbling right through, because I didn't want to cry on stage. Because it's okay to cry. One of the things I realized was that crying doesn't make you less of a man. It makes you more of a human. So it's okay to cry, but at the same time, I don't want to cry in front of a bunch of strangers. So I went to the next Mo Mondays where I was performing, and I did the speech, but really from the heart. And the jokes were authentic, and they were just about me and the situation I was going through, and the response was awesome. I crushed it. And that's how I turned the L into a W, by listening to the constructive criticism and then taking it and looking at, okay, what can I do with that? How can I turn that into a win? And because I did so well at that one performance, I got invited to a whole bunch of different Mo Mondays to speak. I got invited again to compete at another Speaker Slam competition, the Pitchmaster competition. One of the same judges from the first time was there at this one, and he said, "Man, you've really, really accelerated. You've grown so much in that short amount of time. What did you do?" And I explained to him what I did, and another guy come up to me who helps, and he was the president of one of the Toastmasters in London. He had just finished that. Anyways, he come to me and he says, "Man, what was your secret? You're so much better, and it's only been like 3 months." So I was getting this feedback. People were really seeing the growth, the rapid growth, and I told them the story about taking that criticism, constructive criticism, really looking at it and fixing it and saying, okay, so people, because what happens is when people give you constructive criticism, they're not trying to pull you down. They're giving you all the little ingredients you need to succeed, to make it better, to make it stronger. So that's how I was able to take my L and turn it into a W. And now I'm speaking at Mo Mondays all the time, and I'm having a lot of fun. But I'm also I've connected really to the most important thing with speaking, and that is to really just learn to speak from the heart. You don't have to rehearse everything, but you have to be for real in what you're saying. And you have to let people feel that emotion. If there's emotion to be felt, you have to let them feel it. You have to be vulnerable. But the most important thing was understanding that every time you fail, this is the most important thing for me, every time I fail, it's an opportunity to learn. And when I learn, I expand and I grow. And when I expand and I grow, I can always turn that failure into a win. So I never actually fail. All I do is give myself opportunities to learn and to become better and more of an expert in what I'm doing, whatever it is that I'm doing. And so that's how I turn my L into a W. And it's a great technique if you can learn how to do it. The hardest part is to be able to really listen. Listen to what someone's saying, and don't take it that it's personal, that they're saying that you're no good, you're not worthy, you suck. But they're actually telling you that if you make these little changes, you can accelerate and you can become so much better at what you're trying to do. If you just listen and implement what they're saying to implement. Nobody ever tells you, oh, you know what, don't ever touch the mic again, you should never do it again. No, they're telling you, okay, do this, this, and this. They're giving you the ingredients that you can put in to your success, to build your success. And that's the key to it. The key to anything you do, anytime that you get any kind of criticism, really look at what is the message inside that criticism. And is it really true? If it's just someone trolling you, that's a whole different story. But we're talking about constructive criticism, when someone's actually trying to help you. That's how you turn an L into a W. So don't be afraid of L's. L's are actually awesome because they show you how to get to that W. And that's what we want to do. We want to get W's every day, all day. So I'm glad that you listened to this video. Thanks for watching this whole video. I know it's a little bit longer than I usually do. I am trying to make more videos just to share, because I think it's very important, and I think it's helping people that watch. Yeah, there's not huge viewership right now, but I'm also not doing all the things that I was doing before. I'm starting to do some of the thumbnails again, but I'm not doing all the promoting the videos and paying for advertising and all that kind of stuff, because, well, for one thing, Google AdWords, they don't like my my account. They want me to change a whole bunch of stuff. I was like, nah, I'm not spending all kind of time on that. If I really need to, I'm just gonna hire someone to market my videos if it comes to that. So that's what I wanted to talk to you about. Again, I have lots of books. I'm gonna put links. Just check out my helpful links, the useful links, I guess I call them. Check out the useful links, and you can link up to books and social media stuff that I'm doing, websites, all that stuff. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you again.